All right, Adam Savage here in my cave with a weird deep cut of a prop. This one, I've been thinking about this one for a couple weeks now. I've been watching The Crown. I'm totally amazed by The Crown. I can't get enough of it. Claire Foy and Olivia Colman are both revelations as Queen Elizabeth. Everyone in it is great. Oh man, I just love The Crown. But one of the things that I really, really dig about within the world, right? Because it's all about the world. It's not about the people in the world. It's about the world and its effect on the people. That's what I love about it. The Queen has many audiences in her room, the room in which she has audiences. I mean, this is a woman who has had a weekly meeting with the Prime Minister since the 50s. Like, she's got a repository of knowledge, of history that is unparalleled, really, among living human beings, I swear. And she has these audiences in this room. Prime Minister comes in, she talks, and when she's done having a meeting, she pushes a little buzzer, and the footman opens the door, and that's how she ends a meeting. She doesn't even say, well, that's great, we'll talk next week about it. She just, like, what needs to get said, and then she looks over to, she pushes the button. So that button shows up all over the place. Like, it's not just in that room, from what I can tell. Is it in most of the rooms? Here's what happened. See, I started thinking, and I started realizing, like, this is a piece of interesting technology. So it used to be probably that she had a little bell, ding, 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 and that's how she alerted people. And then with the advent of electricity, Buckingham Palace was like, well, let's use electricity to solve this problem. And they gave her a little buzzer, and they put it on her table and said, you push this, and it'll ring a bell out there. So I can't stop thinking about this instrument, this buzzer with a ringer. And I want to make one. I want to make one as if it is a bit of kit from the palace. So I'm going to channel the palace handyman. I'm going to channel this sort of, and I'm not even thinking about this year. I'm thinking like 100 years ago, the advent of electricity, who built the Queen's bell and its ringer, and what does that look like? What does that system look like? I have a very specific idea, and I'm super excited about trying it out. What we're going to build today is the bell part, and I could not find anything remotely approaching the kind of bell that the Queen has. I even searched ebay.co.uk. I searched Craigslist in London. I just couldn't find anything. But I did find a very ornate Victorian doorbell plate. And this is awesome. And I've determined that this diameter is pretty close to the diameter of the top of the Queen's bell. And it's got this beautiful little brass switch in it. This is fantastic. But her bell isn't a big rectangle, it's a cylinder. So what I need to do is I need to cut this out of here, and then I need to lay that down, and I need to make a bottom for it, also out of brass. And then out of that bottom comes 2 wires, and those will go to the ringer. I have all sorts of exciting plans for the ringer. I'm not going to tell you any of them because we're just going to make the bell today. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited about this one. This is probably coated in something. I'm going to hit it with some acetone and clean it up so it's no longer coated, and then I'm going to weather it. I'm going to age it way down. Yeah, I'm making a prop from a show, and this prop is not a prop that you see, and I'm inventing this whole other aspect to its technology, I think. But it's all in service of just this idea of the world that the Queen lives in, and how that world functions. And I want to build a piece of equipment for how that world functions. So we're going to get started on a bell. I see. Oh, no, there we go. I see you. So the way I plan to cut this out is I'm not going to chuck it into the lathe like this. Way too much to handle. I'm just going to trim it like around here, close to this line. And then I'm going to bolt it into a 1/2-inch bolt and tighten it down with some non-metallic washers that I've got so I don't mar this. And then I'm going to clean up that edge. But first and foremost, we're going to use a little bandsaw. So that goes there. That comes through. Yep. All right, and then, yep. Well, maybe a little bit of adjustment once I get this on the lathe. All right. Yeah, that's not bad. Holding on. Let's get this popped into the lathe. We're gonna use this. Yeah, there we go. And this is an R32 collet system. Yep. Collet in, put that in, pop it all together. And it's a nice, come on, there we go. No. Don't. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to tighten this down. And we're going to just spin it and see how close to a circle it is. I'm just going to use my tool there as a guide. Oh, it's not that bad, is it? That seems pretty good to me. Okay, so now I'm going to get ready to peel away at it a little bit at a time with this guy here. When you're putting this much stress on something in the lathe, you want to take very gentle passes of a few thou per pass because you don't want to overstress. This is not solid brass. It's some alloy, which means the whole thing could shatter. I don't know what it's made out of. So you can see the progress that I'm making, slowly coming in. Yeah, and I'm just doing these are rough passes. Still got about a 1/4 inch to go. All right. It's now exactly round, but I want to keep on going in because I want to go to the body here. All right, I'm going to use my cutoff tool. I've shaped it down to this outer edge, and I'm going to do a little bit of final shaping, and then I'm going to give it a lip, hopefully, which will suck it inside the next piece. Come in with this little tool here. See if I can make some progress that way. Nice. That's pretty. I actually think I have more room there. I think I'm going to take it. Yeah, that vibration, you hear that ringing? It's really hard to get rid of that on a piece that's cantilevered out like this. What do we got? 1.88. 1.88. All right. I think I can come in just a little bit. I like that lip. I can deal with that. That is 1.865. All right. All right, so I have given my bell a little bit of a lip right here, and I'm going to make a receiver for that sucks right into. Yeah. This is the hunk of burning love. This is the hunk of brass that will end up being the bottom to this. So the first thing I need to do, it's already a really good OD, give or take a few thou. I need to bore out its inside so it can receive this bad boy. I'm very pleased with that. Now I need to install some holes for wires. Yeah, okay, here we go. Hey, there it is. I have cut the brass base. I have made a hole just big enough for the twisted old-fashioned wire. And I am now going to figure out a way to assemble both this and that guy. That guy lives with that. And right now, see that? See that? That feels to me like the thing. It feels to me like the thing. Let's see if I actually gave myself enough room. Might not have. I might have to actually chuck this in and lay its bottom out a little bit more. Oh, we shall see. That's exactly perfect. Wow. Okay. So we're going to get this guy in there, and then I need to strip that. I'm using a little bit of thin crazy glue to hold on to the outside edge of my, to basically keep the wire shielding from fraying too much. Great. Nice. I like that. All right. The same thing over here. That's it. All right. Now I need a flathead screwdriver. Great. Did I do that backwards? I did. I have to do it the other way. Beautiful little wire seats for this. I'm really happy with it. I'm going to have to put a little electrical tape at the bottom to keep it from shorting. But besides that, wonderful. Great. Oh, I'm so happy with how this thing looks. All right. Right, so it's easy enough to get back into here if I need to. I am going to test, make sure I don't have continuity. And that's going to be using some of this business. Okay, I have added some antique blacking to this. It is a mild acid, and it is now really good and weathered. I've washed it off, and now I'm basically going to just start, you know, slowly handling it until it feels like a right and proper ancient object. But, dude, I feel like between that and that, I feel like here we are well on our way to the Queen's button. Yeah. That is, brr, brr. Look, for the record, I don't plan to use this for any meeting ever. That's not how I want to end a meeting. I am not the queen, nor do I desire to be treated as such. But I love the idea of the industry of them going to electricity. All right, now I'm going to add a feature, which was part of my own idea, which is I'm going to add a retractable plug into my bell housing. Yep, a retractable plug is about to happen. So this is a retractable plug from a vacuum machine, a vacuum cleaner. So I'm going to cut it and I'm going to splice it to my wire, and then I'm going to have my wire go up so I can extend the bell out however long I want to. Yes. So here we go. Oh, this old cloth wire is such a pain in the butt. Come on, peel back. You peel back too. Good, that's one free. I don't want to cut through too much of the wire. There we go. We're gonna do a little soldering. Wow, whatever this wire is made of, it doesn't really want to solder. Heat shrink on that persuasion. That's not going to work. This isn't really seating, so I'm going to use wire lugs instead. So hairy. It's like trying to wire up a Chewbacca. Great. And let's get you. Great. So now I should be able to release this and it'll wind all the way up. Yeah. Oh yeah. That is a lot of wire. There we go. We now have a retractable plug. So let's double check continuity again. And just make sure that everybody is responding the way they ought to. So put that there. If I touch them, I get the beep. If I touch these, don't get the beep until I push the button. And then, oh, hey, there you go. Yeah. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm so happy about it. All right. Put some stuff away. I have more coming. This is only half the equation. This is only the bell ringer. This is only the Quasimodo. The bell itself, its face rings a bell. The bell itself is on its way here from several places around the world via eBay. Yep. Yep. I'm really pleased. And 4 months have passed. Yeah. That's a long cut. It is 4 months between the last cut and this and now. And there's a really good reason for that. This is the Queen Bell box, and as you saw in the last shot, I had completed the bell portion and the retractable plug portion of the build. And I had some other pieces, but it was really important to me to have a vintage bell, an old electromagnetic bell, not a cheapo new one, not even one that was 30 or 40 years old one. I wanted one that was like 75 to 100 years old. And I found one. I think this one's about 70 years old. I bought it in Japan, and it took 3 months to get here. Sometimes that happens on eBay. So now I have the parts. I've got the little royal emblem. I've got some little feet. I've got a some closure. I've got a handle, white paint, and did I have this last time? I have a drawing. Yeah. All right, it's time to work out the size of this queen bell and start to cut out the wood. Yeah, we're going to complete it today. Ha! I would also be remiss if I did not tell you that in the interim, Prince Philip, the Queen's partner, husband of 73 years, has passed. And whatever you think of the royals, it is always a tragedy when a family member dies, and my heart goes out to the royal family for their loss. I'm sorry for you guys, sincerely. Yeah. And I'm still going to continue with this build because I still love the idea of exploring my own fictional infrastructure of Buckingham Palace. Yeah. I think it's worth talking about the process I just went through. So I have this build I want to do. I have all the parts and pieces of it, and I have a rough drawing. You see, I've drawn a box with holes in it for the sound of the bell, with a cutaway in it for a light and a switch. And like this gives me some guidance as to how big this thing might be, but not all the guidance that I need. That's why I took a piece of butcher paper and put it down and held the actual objects in place here, and then came up with sizes and tolerances based on the actual parts. And that got me a lot closer to a final product. And now I'm going to start cutting out some pieces on the table saw. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. I have cut out one of my slots on the mill just to use it as trays. Yeah, I just want to see how these space out here. Great, I like that. I like that pattern. That's nice. All right, I think I have my construction here. So now we're going to go to the mill and we're going to cut all these slots out until they look like this. 3 inches. All right, great. I have installed a third piece on the bottom, specifically just to keep the blowout from happening. Here we go. That's the first pass. I'm very pleased. These are the blowouts I'm talking about. See, when the blade breaks the surface from here and pushes through, it can cause this. So I put a sacrificial piece of wood in there to keep that from happening. And now you see that the backside of both of these is really nice. Oh, come on! They're supposed to be able to work! All right, so now I have to pull both jaws. Okay, will do. One thing I must admit that I really dig about this Kirsch vise is how wide the jaws open. All the slots, they are cut. They are cut. Oh, yeah, I see. So all the slots are cut. It's now time to sand them. I'm going to sand them. I'm going to assemble a box, and then I'm going to start cutting into a box. Yeah, we'll see. All right, this is actually a system check. I'm really close to a system check here. I think I need to just twist together these wires and I get a bell ring. So let's see here. That's the bell. So if this is the bell, there we go. So then, so then what I need is that's the bell, that's the battery. We do the positive from the battery into the bell. Yes. Bend that wire lug, wire nut. There we go. Okay, now we get this business. I do not like this wire. Sometimes wire just rubs you the wrong way. All right, so then this connected to this. Ha! It works. All I've done is hook the battery up to the bell, and then where the negative lead connects from the bell back to the battery, I just put this in there. Ah, that's great. Okay, so now I need to close up this. And that's going to be the tricky part here. All right, let's, make some measurements. 9.5 plus 30 thou. Okay, so then that's going to slip ever so slightly inside of there. Come on, come on. Yep, and that, right? So that's going to go to there, and that one's going to go to there. I'm no longer trying to draw perfectly straight lines. I'm trying to draw lines that fit the thing I've made. So that goes in there, and let's just double check that fitment. The main form of my bell is done, and it is wired, and it mostly works. The handle goes up here. I've got some feet for the legs, but I got to paint it. I got to give it a coat of matte black spray paint, and that is what I'm about to do. That is what I'm about to do. There we go. Wait a second. There we go. What? Yeah, look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, here's why I'm so happy with the execution. I mean, I made this drawing, I was inspired, and I'm really happy with how much this matches my initial concept. And there's a thing I love about the shape of this, in that it feels like this is clearly a device for doing something, and something really specific. We know what it is, but imagine someone coming across this at some other point. They'd be like, what the frickin' hell is this thing? And like, they'd be hard pressed to figure it out. And I like that. Like, this, I'll put something into the world that, like, you know, the world has to answer for. It doesn't, nobody makes one of these. Well, I mean, I assume there's one at the palace, but I don't know what it looks like. Hey, if you work at Buckingham Palace and you'd like this, let's say you could adopt it for a couple of years. I mean, I'd kind of like it back when it's all done, but like, hey, Buckingham Palace, if you want to borrow my queen's bell, the queen, I will make this available. She's through with you. She's done. She's moving on to tea. Time to get out of the room. Here comes the guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is my favorite part, the weathered hand-painted Queen's signature. This shows up on some old-timey, like, Napoleonic era stuff, and I always found it really compelling, and I had to work up the nerve to do this because I wasn't sure it was going to feel like someone had gone through the care and then, you know, aging it back and making it look like it's been there for 30 years. I feel like I'm pretty successful at it, but it took a little courage. It's not my normal style of paintings, do bright font work. This is one of those rare occurrences where the kind of vision I had for the thing in the middle of the night and drew here came to fruition pretty much exactly as I had hoped. Thank you guys for joining me for this crown-centric, yet another crown-centric one-day build. Yes, I know it took 4 months, but I didn't take a full day today, and I didn't take a full day that last time either. So, you know, I think we could maybe squeak this in under the wire. I think it's time for me to stop talking. It's time to go get some dinner. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this one-day build. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching that entire video. If you would like to support Tested even further, well, I'm here to tell you that you could become a member. If you follow the links below, you'll see there are several tiers of membership depending on how much you'd like to pay and how much access you would like to me and the Tested team. And membership comes, as always, with some excellent benefits, including questions that I'll answer in live streams. The questions have been so amazing, and exclusive videos and exclusive content. Follow the links below, and we will see you next time.